All right, welcome back to the Batting 500 podcast. Trenton and Jeremy are here, and we are going to get into a little bit of the rule changes coming into this season. For 2026, there's been a couple of rule changes for the MLB. There's five kind of key ones that were voted on last year towards the end of the year to come into this season. One of the big things I wanted to mention about this is the idea of these rule changes is they're trying to increase the accuracy of calls and making the game, called basically to perfection, but with the human element still in it. And I agree with that. I don't want to see the umpires go away.
Team one way or
exactly
the other, like it was last year, where you could definitely look at the stats and go, okay, this guy was calling it for these guys and wasn't calling it for these guys.
Right.
Vice versa. So it was one of those. I feel like the ABS system is going to really help with that accuracy, but you're also going to only have a limit the amount of times that you can challenge, which is going to be great because it's going to keep that human element there, and you're not going to see a whole lot of them because you need that challenge later on in the game. You're going to have your entire roster pissed off that you just challenged it being selfish player.
Right.
I mean, so it's going to be very interesting to see, especially, you get some hot-headed pitchers like down in the Astros last year, now goes to the Tigers. Are you going to play that kind of selfish ball?
Right.
You can't do that.
And I like the fact that they're trying to keep the human element in it. I think these are games. This is a game. We don't want it literally perfected because I like the idea of the human aspect to it. I want to see an umpire back there calling the play, but I also want to see the right call be made as well. And so these rule changes are to try to kind of mitigate that and get it back to
and I think it helps
good.
Too with some of these officials that are. Their eye isn't really the best, so they call low ones balls when they should be actually at the plate. I mean, you're going to have it so that now they have to retool it from the human eye of they can't be lazy. Like you see some of these umps that stand above them, where the ones that you really notice that are doing the best calling are crouched down with the catcher so they can see, all right, hit the zone. Here's where we're calling it. So it's going to create less laziness, I think, from the umps, myself, and it's going to create. When you get called out as an ump, it's going to help you. Okay, now I understand more or less where the box is at. I have to be on every day. I can't just pick my spots today, and this is going to be a ball. This is going to be a strike. Because we watched it last year in the World Series. Where it's this one was called a ball 5 seconds ago. You hit the same spot, and then you call it a strike. How does that work when the box has still been the box the entire time?
Right. And over the years, we've had some problems with betting and baseball and stuff, umpires getting in trouble for it. So I think this will help kind of eliminate some of that as well. You won't be able to see, if you do make a bad call and it gets called out and it gets corrected, then at least the right call was made at the end of the day. So the first one, let's jump into, obviously, the ABS challenge system. The umpires still call the game, but the batters, the pitchers, or the catchers can immediately challenge a call by tapping their cap or helmet. I like this. I know the past couple of years they've had the ABS in the spring training, and then they didn't take it into the regular season, correct?
It was just ABS system throughout the spring training, and then once regular season started, that's why even last year, right before the season started, the umps were telling them, if you tap your helmet in a regular season game at the beginning, I'm going to kick you. They were out there saying that.
Somebody did get thrown out last year.
Right.
Don't be doing that to me as an ump. But now it's okay. Well, the ump's going to have to swallow his pride.
Right.
And here's the ABS system. It's here to stay because some of you guys are Angel Hernandezing this thing and you're so far off. It's not funny.
Yeah. And I like the idea of this because in the spring training games the past couple of years, I've liked the ABS system. I think it's great. Obviously these umpires, I get that they don't like it. It kind of takes, I don't know how to word it. I guess it's almost like an ego thing. It seems to me
is power away from them.
Right. They feel like they have
a lot
power.
Of these guys feel like I'm Billy Bad and I can do whatever I want.
Right.
It's no, you can't.
Right.
This is a game, but it is also that one call can change the entire projection of our game right now. Our series can go the opposite direction.
Exactly.
Because of this call.
And I don't feel like it's to shun these umpires or anything. It's just to make sure the right call gets called.
Honestly, I feel like it's catering more to the fans. I feel like the last few years have been that way. So the pitch clock has sped the game up so that fans actually
right.
You have more fans coming in instead of old heads where it's just oh, I'm just here to watch the game, and it doesn't matter if this thing goes for 3 hours or 15 hours. I'm going to watch the entire series. Whereas you got newer fans that are, all right, I can dedicate 3 hours of my life and watch the game and it's sped up. So this also goes to that perspective where you have these newer fans going, well, if I can see the box clearly on the TV on my app and I can go, well, that was way off. Why was that called the strike?
Right.
And why was this one that hit the zone a ball? It just makes it so that there's more consistency inside of it. So fans actually have that feeling of, all right, well, we're trying to stay as consistent, but also make it show the human element is involved in this.
Right.
And I believe, like, if I'm not mistaken, for the ABS, like the player or the pitcher has to call within 2 to 5 seconds. It has to be really quickly afterwards. Like, it's not this they can come off with the decision after the coach has looked at the play. And,
right.
like, they're also talking about, like we were talking about this before, is taking the pitching box out. It sounds like they're probably going to keep it, but it's up in the air because they don't want teams to have that kind of advantage. So you're probably either going to see a delay in broadcast at stadiums. You're going to see maybe the box gets taken away. It depends on what the MLB is going to go with for there. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to broadcast this.
Yeah, and I'm for all these changes. I've said it in other past episodes and stuff. I was completely against the pitch clock. But when they first announced it, I was absolutely no, this is terrible for baseball. Leave baseball alone. I was one of those old heads, like, leave it alone, don't change anything about it. But now that we've had it, we've seen the results of it, I'm actually for it. I think it was a great call. I was wrong. I'll be the first to admit I was wrong.
So much more people to sit there and watch games now. You're getting them to go to stadiums where before it was just such a huge time commitment. If they were going to go, it was, all right, I might stick around for the first 3 innings and then bail out of this thing. Now it's people stick around for the whole game, so you're getting more merchandise sales, you're getting more souvenirs, more brats and burgers sold at baseball stadiums. Like, you're getting people to actually come and sit down and watch these things.
Right.
And not only that, but it's also renewed where you're having a lot of these older fans that were holding on to it, clutching their pearls and saying, no, don't change it, And then now look at it. You have a whole wave of younger fans that are actually coming into this sport going,
right.
Oh, 3 hours? Yeah, I'd watch that for a football game. So why wouldn't I watch it for a baseball game?
Yep. Anything you wanted to add, Jeremy, on that ABS challenge system? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So a little different. I'm happy that they've got the ABS challenge going. I think it's going to hold the umpires accountable. They already have stats. You can look them up on who the most accurate umpires are. I do think it's a benefit to the game. My thing is, I think that if you have the technology to have the ABS challenge, you should just have an earpiece in the umpire's ear, and he calls the ball or the strike based off of it.
Yeah.
My biggest concern was I thought it was really going to slow the game down, but I've been watching in spring training, and I want to say it was the batter, pitcher, catcher, has 2 seconds to challenge. So it's really not that fast, and then within 10 seconds, it's up on the scoreboard.
Right.
There's been a few glitches, so obviously when we get to regular season games, we have to make sure that we have that figured out. The biggest and most interesting thing that I find from it, how much value is it going to add to a catcher? There's going to be a brand new stat created on how accurate the catcher is in challenging these plays.
Yeah.
And let's say you've got a catcher who's 9 out of 10, and then you have a catcher who's, 2 for 10. What value is that going to bring to the team? It's almost like pitch frame. When a catcher goes into free agency, is that going to be a stat that we're looking at? Hey, this catcher is stealing us outs.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you can also look at it from how well the catcher frames it. Does he steal the challenge then from them? Are you stealing these challenges away from them because they're going, well, I think that was in the zone, so let's challenge it, and then you steal that challenge away from the other team? Like, this could add so much more value to the catcher's position just because of how you frame the ball, how you are as a catcher. So it's kind of like a dual-sided sword, I feel like, where you can, say that it's going to hurt them, but at the same time, it also gives them that opportunity of, if you can fool it enough that the ump's not calling a ball or a strike, and then they challenge it, and then they're wrong, you're stealing away challenges, and you only get 2 of those per game and then extra innings. So it makes your position that much more valuable because you could steal that spot away from them. All right, go ahead and challenge it and watch what happens.
Well, and also kind of on the other end of it, does it kind of eliminate the need for framing pitches, because in reality, you can frame all you want, but when the review comes up, it's going to show what the actual pitch was.
I think that framing works even more now because you have to play the ump. That's going to be what it is. You're playing the ump like you've been doing this entire time. But now you play the ump so that he calls a ball or a strike.
But you also play the manager now.
Now as the manager or the teammate, you have to take that risk of, did he frame that good? Or was that ball in the zone the whole time? And now you're questioning yourself versus, okay, some of these are going to be blatantly obvious, like, all right, that one's way out of there. But some of
those close ones are going to be tough.
Steal the challenge away from you because, all right, I'm going to make this look like it should have been a ball, but it was actually a strike the whole time. Or this one should have been a ball, but I made it a strike because of how I framed it. Now go ahead and challenge it. Do you have the guts to challenge it, especially early on in the game?
Yeah, it's going to add a weird element. And like you said, like it's going to add a whole new stat to a catcher. You know, like you said, when you're signing a free agent catcher, you're going to be looking at those stats. Like, hey, how is this guy doing? You know, as opposed to the ABS, is he, like you said, is he stealing outs? Is he getting us out of innings with framing a pitch where, you know, it was called a strike, they challenged it, it is a strike, and now all of a sudden it's like you just lost that. It's going to add a whole new dynamic to catchers, and I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be cool.
I think another cool thing is it's basically unlimited challenges as long as you get it right.
Yeah.
You know, in other sports you get, 2 challenges, and then if you get them both right, you get a third challenge.
Yep.
Whereas here you're looking at unlimited challenges, and then when you get into extra innings, you get your challenge back. So every inning you get an extra challenge. The one thing that I did see that was pretty interesting is you're not allowed any help from anybody else on the field. So it's catcher, pitcher, batter. If an umpire thinks that another player or a manager is helping you or telling you to challenge it, they can actually deny it.
Right.
So that is a rule that's been put in place to prevent other people from helping you challenge. But we know teams get creative with trash cans and things like that. So you never know what's going to come of it. Kind of like what he was saying with the pitcher's box. I know that they were talking about that. And in spring training, they've been showing a lot of games where they're not showing the box. But I did see that there was a huge debate over it where a lot of fans want that box in there. So the other option is going to be, delaying the feed by like 5 to 10 seconds. So that'll be pretty interesting to see where the MLB goes with that.
And I feel like you really shouldn't even have to change that myself because, like we just said, if the ump feels like you're getting help from somewhere else, he's going to squash that right away. So why does it matter? Especially like we've all been in ballparks. Like you can pull up the app and you go, okay, I want to see what this ump's doing. It takes forever for it to load up on your phone.
Right.
It's not like you're in the TV box and you're going to be shouting down so that everyone can hear you. Like that's not what the case is. Like usually the fans are already going to tell you what they think right then and there. Like that one was clearly a strike or that one was a ball. You're blind, ump. What are you calling?
Well, it's not like they're going to remove the first down line from the NFL,
Right, exactly.
It's similar to that. I mean, fans want to be able to be at home and be umpires from their couch as well. They want to be able to be like, why isn't he challenging that? Or whether or not they want to have that debate or what. When you're sitting on the couch watching the game, seeing that box there, I think makes a huge difference. And I don't want to see that go away.
Oh, I completely agree. Since you already kind of touched on it, I'll just read, the specifics of it, but the challenges, teams receive 2 challenges per game, retaining them if successful. Extra innings provide 1 additional challenge if none remains. So like you said, basically if you keep getting your challenges right, it's unlimited. You could challenge, 5 or 6, 7 different times in a game if you keep getting them right. Now, if you're not doing well and you get those first 2 wrong, you're done. You're out. Now that could put you in a pinch later in a game, but extra innings, even if you're out of them, you still get that extra challenge per inning, which I kind of like the idea of that because it makes sure that, hey, we're in extra innings. If there is a call that you think is bad, challenge it. Let's get it right. Let's get it right the first time and get this game figured out. Yeah,
well, not only that, but it's also one of those things like, all right, so you want to argue that the game is sped up so much because of this clock. It also gives that pitcher a chance to, that one, I think it might have hit the zone. I'm going to challenge it, but it also gives me another 10 seconds to recalibrate and get back in the zone.
Right.
I personally don't think that a pitcher should ever challenge it. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have them out there, but first of all, you're in motion. A lot of these guys are
I've
falling
seen
off
a
the
few
mound.
of these, like spring training. The Texans, the Rangers, they had a pitcher challenge a few pitches, and they've been in the zone, low corner of the zone, and they're like, "No, I'm challenging that because I know for a fact that was in the zone. That was a strike."
Yeah.
And they've been right. So how do you say not to challenge your pitch? Like you know better than anybody there that you threw lightning down the plate.
Well, I
Well,
think the catcher knows better, though.
I was just going to say,
they're right there.
I kind of agree with Jeremy on that one. I think the catcher should be the one to initiate that.
A lot of these pitchers are falling off the mound,
Right.
When they throw.
Yeah.
They don't have a clear
Well,
line
if that's
of sight.
if that's
Exactly.
the case, then yeah, absolutely. But
Plus,
I feel
you're
like
super emotional.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you're in a
Yeah.
high tense, situation, and you're like, that was a strike. and
Right,
then you call it.
exactly.
Not to say that they can't. I'm just saying, if I was a manager, I think that would be one of my first things. Is all right, you guys, trust your catcher.
Right,
That's what
exactly.
they're there for.
Well,
They're seeing.
that's
it.
what I was just gonna ask. Like, who do you have challenges the most? Like, okay, so if you're only gonna allow your catchers, so let's just say that's one. That's fine on defense, but you like reserve one of these challenges. Like, hey, we're gonna leave one for defense, one for offense, and then for your offensive player, like, hey, you're the at bat guy for us. You're the designated hitter. You're the one you're the Aaron Judge of this game. Do you let them only challenge it, or how do you play that as a manager position? Like, do you say, hey, if it looks like you clearly got screwed on one, call it, or do you say, hey, I'm gonna kind of leave these challenges for the big wigs who have been at the plate 100 times, they know what they're looking at, and they make the decision for our team.
I think that's another one of those situations where these stats are going to become super important. And I know a lot of these managers. I know Carlos Mendoza said that, during spring training, challenge.
Yep.
We're going to get an idea of who's good at it and who's not. We know Juan Soto has an elite eye at the plate, and he should be, have a free pass to challenge whatever he wants.
Right.
Some of these guys, it's going to come out over the season. Who's the best, who has the best numbers at challenging. They've got a complete green light. The guys that maybe aren't the best, well, we know. And I think as the seasons go on, this is going to become a real big stat. And like we said, in the catching, but also in the hitting aspect and the pitching aspect. We
Right.
know that we're going to know the guys who have elite eyes and who have great knowledge of the strike zone. And those are the guys who are going to be allowed to challenge.
Yep. The next rule change is regarding technology. So the Hawkeye cameras are going to track pitches, with the results being shown on stadium scoreboards in about 15 seconds. I also like this one. I think it brings a new dynamic. It shows you these pitches. First of all, it's cool to see these pitches, the movement of them and stuff, and you're going to get to see that because sometimes it's not easy to see when you're sitting at a different angle. You know,
like you already. Most of us who sit there and watch it, you're already doing that on your phone on the MLB app.
Right.
So it's just taking it. So, hey, I'm not draining my battery life.
Exactly.
All right, I want to see what that was because I really, in my heart of hearts, think it was a strike or a ball. I want to see what was going on there. So,
Yep. And
I think it's going to be a lot funner for the fans because now instead of having a different experience sitting at the house, you get the same experience sitting at the stadium
right.
with a little less guesswork on your behalf. All right, well, I get to also see what the pitches are doing. And that's kind of what I've gone to a few games and I've thought that myself, like, if we have this on the TV, why not have this where they can see it?
Exactly.
And then on top of it, it really, I think if they're going to put it on there, it really helps your managers and your team because then it allows them to go, okay, like, here's what we're looking at today. Here's what he's kind of throwing at us. Or, hey, our guy's just not feeling it today. Like, we got to dial him in here.
Yep. Another rule change, and this one I completely agree with. The base coach boxes. So coaches must remain inside the designated boxes while the pitcher is on the rubber to prevent sign stealing via positioning. I am 100% for this. Those boxes are there for a reason. They've been there the whole time. You see some of these guys where they're 10, 12 feet out of the box. It's like, what are you doing? You have a position you're supposed to be in. You need to stay in that position. They give you an area to move around, and I completely agree with this one. I am curious of what the consequences are going to be on this. I don't see it specified on here. I'll have to look that up later, but
I would imagine it's going to be ejections out of the game.
I would say either ejections or is it going to be an immediate walk? Or
the ump will give you like a warning, and then you do it the second time. He'll give you he'll kick you out of the game, and
Yeah.
You're not going to be any good as a manager if you get kicked out in the first inning.
Yeah.
Right.
You're being stupid.
So now this is only when the pitcher's on the rubber. So if the ball is hit and you're signaling a guy to go home, you have freedom to move up and down the line?
I believe so. It does specify while the pitcher's on the rubber. So I think the whole purpose of this is to prevent the sign stealing.
Yeah.
When the pitcher is up there, when the catcher is giving signs and stuff, you're not allowed to try to kind of get a better angle to see like, oh, what are they trying to throw? Like once the ball is hit, it sounds to me like you can go kind of wherever you want, which is fine. That's fine with me. But while that pitcher is getting his sign, you should not be able to be out.
But with the pitch comm, we're not really stealing signs like that anymore. That kind of eliminated that stuff. And,
True.
And I get the box has been there and everything, and I'm not anti them,
but
because there has been some situations in the past where, there has been issues with coaches outside of the box. So I'm not against that, but with the pitch comm in place, we're not giving like finger signals anymore.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the coach is able to see from that.
You're also like, I think we had it last year against the Yankees and the Mariners, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, where the player was on second base and he was signaling to the guy who was hitting because he could see he gave certain
exactly.
signals. So it's one of those
grip
that,
in the glove.
So it's one of those that the coach can look and say, oh, he's throwing a splitter because I can see his thumbs. I can see how his hand is. Okay. So that's what they're trying to eliminate is any extra advantage that you have, because we're trying to eliminate it with the pitch comm.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are so smart that you're going to look at how they catch the ball. You're going to look at how they position their fingers, like anything and everything. And then you're going to, any slight, hey, I can give my player just that much more of an advantage, they're going to do. And so that's kind of what I feel like they're trying to eliminate here is you can't get a better angle at the pitcher to see how he's placing his hands. You can't until it's leaving his hand. And then by that point in time, it's too late. He's throwing the pitch.
Yep.
I guess I would have to stand in that box and see what different view I have of like the pitcher's hand in his glove. Obviously second base is an easy spot to see from where the pitcher is gripping the ball and stuff. But first and third base would be a little tough.
And that's why I feel like that box is so important, because you have to look at them from the side. Whereas if you move, then you have, all right, I can see him exactly head up and I know what you're doing.
Right. The last rule change is the obstruction rule. So runners are prohibited from initiating contact with fielders simply to draw an obstruction rule. Again, I agree with this one. We see a lot of injuries every year where guys are sliding into guys intentionally, trying to break up a play or to get an obstruction call to where they get to keep the base. It's like, I don't like that. I think it's a dirty play. I get the purpose of it. You're trying to break that play up. And yes, back in the 70s and 80s, it was a big thing, but it's dirty. We're talking about top tier athletes here. These guys are they're big, they're built, they're strong, they're just, we can't have guys sliding into guys' shins and knees and tearing ACLs and stuff just to break up a play. Like I agree with this rule change. I've not liked this play for a lot of years. Again, like I said, I think it's dirty, and I'm glad that they're trying to do away with it. Let's keep guys from getting injured. Let's try to eliminate injuries as much as we can. It's obviously part of the game. It's going to happen,
you're
but
gonna see people stop doing it because now they're no longer going to get the obstruction.
Exactly.
So they're not going to, one, risk hurting themselves, and two, risk hurting somebody else if they already know that they're going to get the out in the first place.
Exactly. And I'm for that rule change. Again, all these rule changes, I'm kind of coming around on baseball. I used to be way against any rule changes. It was like, nope, leave it alone. It's America's pastime. We'll leave it alone, but I've seen some rule changes over the years that have actually benefited the game a lot. And I'm kind of like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what this does.
Well, and it seems like MLB is moving in the right direction because they're doing this slowly but surely, where they're changing things, but it's not like knee-jerk reactions where, all right, let's see how this plays out, and if we like it, then we're going to keep it. If not, we're not. But I feel like it's revitalizing the sport, where you're getting a lot of youth into the sport versus the only youth you were really seeing before was the people actually coming up to play. Like, that was the youth you were seeing, the people who were going to be players or had some sort of career in baseball, and they went to colleges or they were in a minor league team and they were just following it more. But or the really diehards, and now you're getting a lot more people coming out of the woodwork like, oh, I can definitely spend 2.5 hours watching a game, and
Yeah.
it's a lot more fun. There's a lot more action behind it. You're not just sitting there waiting for pitches like you used to. I mean, the one thing that I think it does kill and it ruins is you're no longer going to see like your Nolan Ryans that go 9 innings, just because that pitch clock is going to eat up these pitchers' arms. I mean,
Right.
I think we're going to have a new stat probably of you're going to have no hitters, but it's going to be 6 to 7 innings, because you're not going to see pitchers go 9 innings with a pitch clock like that.
Well, yeah, it's going to be combined no-nos. I mean, it's going to be hard to pitch a 9-inning game.
I do wonder, how much the pitch clock has affected. It just does seem like there's more and more injuries to pitchers' arms since they've implemented it. I'm not
Yes.
sure what the stat is or how much it's gone up, but I definitely think that there is some kind of correlation between the pitch clock and I'm right there with you, Zach. When it came to the pitch clock, I was super anti it. But as it's gone on, you're not seeing batters step out of the box 17 times
Right.
and swing the bat, or pitchers walk around the mound 6 times, and it is really getting down to the game, and there was a lot of that going up. I did see like it was like a graph showing how long games got because of how out of control that those things were becoming. The one thing I don't like about it is the 2 pickoff rule. I think
Yeah.
becoming a balk. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine, but I just think a balk is too extreme for it. And you can see that the stolen bases has gone up, and I
Yep.
feel like that stat is so much more padded now with that rule in place. I agree with speeding up the game. Like you said, I hated it at first, but now I like it. The ghost runner on second. I know we're trying to finish these games, but I maybe start them on first. I
Right,
don't know.
right.
I don't like it. It's like the kickoff rule for the NFL. It seems like you're a field goal away, and you're not safe anymore in
Yep.
the NFL, because these guys are running it back 40 yards right off the bat or whatever because of this stuff. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how these rules go. I definitely am in agreement on a bunch of them for sure. We'll just have to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. One other topic I kind of wanted to hit on this episode is let's talk about a couple of these young guys in spring training right now. Just kind of give you a quick glimpse of who kind of the rookie of the year favorites are right now, based off the way they're playing in spring training, based off projections of them making the rosters and stuff. I know there's one guy in specific I know you want to talk about. Nolan Mclain. This guy, the right-handed pitcher for the Mets, he is looking like a stud. I'm excited to see how he does this year in the MLB. He did play some MLB last year, but he is still considered a rookie. So I'm excited to see how he does. What are your thoughts on him?
Man, he's absolutely disgusting. And there's a balance that comes into this. Anybody who says that teams don't make decisions based on whether or not they can get rookie of the year, or I think it's a PPI is what it is. If your team wins rookie of the year or places for that, or MVP, you get a draft pick the next year. And if they if they would have called Nolan Mclain up 1 week earlier, they probably would have made the playoffs. So I don't know if it was worth the gamble. Potentially could get a draft pick this year, but this guy is absolutely filthy. He has the highest spin rate of any MLB pitcher. He came out and just threw nails. I did worry about us putting too much pressure on him. They were talking about him coming up and being our ace. So we went out and got Freddie Peralta, which I'm extremely excited for. So now the pressure's off just a little bit. He's our number 2. We're not relying on him to carry the team.
Right.
No matter how good you are, that can be stressful. But I think the biggest thing about him is, he has all that talent, but his demeanor on the mound, the way that he carries himself on the mound, the how locked in he is, he's just a savage, man. And I cannot wait to see what he does this year.
Yeah.
Speaking of Savage, I mean, Savage is coming up the
Yeah,
ranks
yep.
too, and he just played in a World Series, so I feel like he's going to be nails against you. So
yeah, and
he's a fun pitcher to watch.
Yeah,
he's still rookie eligible as well. So Trey Savage, right-handed pitcher for the Blue Jays, he balled out in that World Series. He balled out really through the whole playoffs, and I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be definitely a favorite to win it. He's got a great arm. He's obviously got the composure to be there. He did it on the biggest stage. So I mean,
Yeah,
I'm excited to see
everything
how he
else is
plays
gonna
this
be
season.
Cakewalk compared to World Series. So
A couple other guys. So there's a shortstop from the Detroit Tigers, Kevin McGonigal. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. I'm excited to see this Tigers team because they were a great team last year. They made some changes this offseason. The whole Tarek Skubal arbitration thing, like it's just been kind of a weird offseason for them. I think Kevin McGonigal is going to be a key piece of a young Detroit team starting this year and on. This team has a lot of young talent all over the place. So bringing up another guy now, it's like, yeah, this team might be scary for a lot of years, especially if they can keep Skubal around.
keep Skubal. I mean, they just picked up another ace too, so it's one of those. They're going all in for this season. It feels like this is kind of the year of the Tiger, where they're trying to win it all.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like the Mets as well, where you're just pouring more and more gas on this fire and hoping it catches. So,
another guy. It's actually Salvador Perez's replacement is Carter Jensen, the catcher for the Royals. I think he's going to be a really good catcher. I haven't seen as much of him as some of these other guys, but I think Carter Jensen, he's in the right program. He's got the right guy ahead of him to teach him how to play. Salvy's not going anywhere right now. I think Salvy's still got a few more years in him, especially moving over to first base. But he's going to be able to learn from a Hall of Famer in Salvy Perez, and this guy could be a really, really great catcher for the Royals going forward. St. Louis, they got another young guy right in the middle of that infield, lining up next to Mason Wynn. JJ Wetherholt, second baseman. He's another favorite to win the Rookie of the Year this year.
He's been looking solid in the spring training.
Yeah,
so far.
he's had a really good spring training, so I'm excited to see him. My daughter is a big Cardinals fan, so we watch a lot of Cardinals games here. And obviously I am too, because most of the time my really good Rockies end up on the Cardinals at some point. So I am excited to see him. I think the Cardinals are on the up and coming. I know they've been down for a couple years now.
Well, I feel like
they're coming
still
around.
Maybe another year or two before we see it, but I feel like the rebuild is coming close to an end.
Right,
they're gearing up for the future. I feel like you look at the roster moves, you look at what they just did. They got rid of Arenado. I mean, they're moving players around that are a little older, but they're getting these really young perennial players that are going to come in, and they're going to be a team that's going to be good for the next 10 to 15 years, as long as they spend the money, keep these guys on the roster. And it feels like they also have the draft picks to go along with it. So it's not like if they lose anybody, they're going to be out, because they have a young farm system that they've been working on the last few years to actually help keep them rolling once they start getting good.
Right. And their farm system is pretty deep. And it always seems to be pretty deep with the Cardinals. They've got a good farm system. Another guy, he played in the MLB a little bit last year and did pretty well, is Samuel Basallo. He's the catcher, DH first baseman for the Orioles. Another team that's just got a ton of young talent. Like the Orioles, they had a great season 2 seasons ago. They weren't very great last year, but now they bring this kid up who's already played in the MLB.
Well,
he's shown he can do it.
I feel like the Orioles were just missing like leadership last year. It just felt like it was gone. So
they brought
sorry to drag this dagger in here, but that's why they brought Pete Alonso in, because he knows. He's been there. He's in the playoffs. He's a perennial player.
Exactly.
Like, he's going to get these players where they need to be and get that roster to play out of their minds, so that it's not as much of a, all right, are we good this year, or are we going to fall off this year? It's going to be, hey, we're just trying to win every play, every at-bat.
Right.
We're trying to do the little things. And once we do the little things right, 90% of the time, the big things come easily.
Yep.
Well, and Pete plays, he posts 162. He plays. He's a great leader. I don't know if he ever would have been the leader of the Mets, but I do think that on the Orioles, he has that potential to be the leader.
Right.
And I think that's what he wanted. He's already hit a couple of home runs in spring training. He's just a great clubhouse guy. And, I am really excited for the Orioles. Growing up, Orioles were my favorite team. First T-ball team I ever played on was the Orioles, and I loved him. My favorite baseball player ever to play the game. I know you talked about yours earlier. Mine's Cal Ripken Jr.
Yep.
This team that they have put together, they battled injuries last year. I know they got one to start off. Is it Holiday that broke his handmade as well?
Yeah. Jackson Holiday. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about how long he's going to be out. I'm
generally
hoping
6 weeks.
That's what I thought. So
it depends on if it's actually broken. If it's actually broken, you're looking in more like, I think 8 weeks is what I saw.
Okay.
So it looks like he's going to start the season a little bit late. But this Orioles team, and they brought in pitching too. I mean, they're looking really good. It's a tough AL East. You've got the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, all vying for a big spot. But man, I think the AL East is going to be super competitive.
Yeah.
This year.
3 playoff teams last year. I don't think they're going to slouch this year at all.
Right.
It's
Right.
going to be nice. Yeah.
And then I saved these two for last because if you watched our episode about the World Baseball Classic, you know all three of us are really high on these two guys. These are the two Japanese guys that signed this year. Kazuma Okamoto, the third baseman for the Blue Jays, he's listed as one of the favorites to win it. Like you said, he's a versatile guy, can play first base, third base, he can move out to the outfield, like a really good hitter, 300 plus. You know, he's going to give you probably, I'm going to guess, probably 20 to 25 home runs a year minimum. You know, the guy is he's a really good player. And then Munetaka Murakami, the first baseman / DH for the White Sox. They call him the Japanese Babe Ruth. I don't know how many Babe Ruths they got over there, but
yeah, I mean, they said he was a better hitter than Ohtani coming up.
Yeah.
And, there's always that fear on if the hitting is going to translate over. That's why I think Okamoto was definitely the best candidate, because defensively he's amazing. So even if it takes a little bit to adjust to the pitching, he has that. When it comes to Munetaka Murakami, he's not known for his defense.
right.
So a lot is riding on his hitting. Ohtani had the pitching to fall back on.
Right. Yep.
So I'm not as high on him. I mean, we're talking, unlimited upside if this guy can catch on to MLB pitching. But I feel like Okamoto is just a safer bet. He brings more tools to the table.
Yep. And I agree with that. I think Okamoto he's got a higher ceiling. I think personally, because of the defensive ability and the offense, but I think the floor is higher for Murakami, just because really if he can catch up to these pitches in the MLB, like you said, the offense is unlimited for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the defense is. We know what it is. They didn't sign him for his defensive prowess or anything. They signed him to be a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of gives him a little higher floor, but I definitely see more like a higher ceiling and more upside in Okamoto. And he went to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, man, honestly, they're going to be really good this year again.
Yeah.
I think they got two guys on this list. I mean, Savage and Okamoto could both win it.
Yeah.
They're going to be a great team again. And like you said, that AL East is going to be stacked. I mean, the Yankees are always good.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are coming back around.
Yeah.
The Orioles are on the up and coming.
Players this offseason.
Right.
I mean, the Red Sox are making some moves.
Right.
They're trying to do some stuff.
The Blue Jays are obviously good. They were just in the World Series.
In the World Series, and they're hurting.
With that,
right.
Prospect promotion incentive, that PPI we were talking about earlier, the Blue Jays have a chance to get 2 draft picks. If you place top 3 in Rookie of the Year, you can get 2 draft picks out of the deal. And the Mets have something kind of similar. We have Nolan Mclain. He's not on this list, but we also have another prospect, Carson Benj.
Yep.
They say he's a 5-tool player. I think he hit 280 in the minor leagues last year. He's got a cannon for an arm, super fast, very good defensively. So we've kind of got some stuff like that going too. It really depends on if he breaks camp. I think he has.
Right.
We were talking about that 45 days or however many it is. I can't remember exactly. But within the first month, if he doesn't make the team, then obviously he'll be eliminated from that, because you do have to play almost the whole season in order to be considered in that.
Yep. Another. There's 2 more guys I wanted to hit on here, because there's 2 more that I think have the ability and could break camp with their teams. Connor Griffin, shortstop / outfielder with the Pirates. He's the number 1 prospect in the MLB right now. I really think this guy, he's only 19 years old, and I think he's got a really good shot of breaking camp. We'll have to see how he does in spring training and stuff, but I think there's enough room on that Pirates team that they could make room for this guy and see what he's got right away. I would not be surprised to see him, make the roster right away and have a really good year. I'm not saying he's going to be like an MVP caliber guy this year, but I could definitely see him being in those top 3 to 5 for a Rookie of the Year if he were to make the team right away. Another guy is the Brewers kid. His name is Jesus Made. shortstop, second baseman for the Brewers. He's the number 3 overall prospect in baseball right now, and he's another one that I really could see making the roster. I think, don't quote me, but I think the highest he's been so far is AA.
Yeah,
I think.
I believe so.
But he has the potential to kind of skip right over AAA and go right to the MLB and just, hey, let's see what he's got. Let's give him a shot. You know, like the Brewers are a really good team, but you can always use another mid infielder. I mean,
these teams have been pulling more and more out of AA.
Right.
You know, they say the competition in AA is way steeper, and
It
they've been
is.
pulling a lot of guys out. I know Carson Bench only played less than a month in AAA last year.
Yep.
But they're liking to grab people from AA.
Well, it kind of seems to me like what's happening with minor league is AA almost seems where your better prospects are. And like you said, they're kind of plucking them right from there. AAA is almost turning into like the rehabilitation league.
Yeah.
When guys get hurt, you send them down to AAA. Yes, it's stiff competition. They're going to get a few games in. Okay, they're back to game form, you know, MLB game form, and then bring them back up and play. AAA almost is turning into, like I said, the rehabilitation league, but also like your long-term minor leaguers.
Yeah.
These are guys that aren't quite enough to make it to the big league.
But they're going to be sharp enough to
Exactly.
sharpen everyone else. who needs to
Exactly. They're
And a lot
there
of
to
the older
kind of,
players
yes,
that-
exactly.
Yeah, that have been in the MLB and now you know
Yep.
are signing these minor league deals, hoping that they get a shot or
Yep.
have a good season and get pulled up for an injury or
Yep,
something
exactly.
like
They're
that,
they're
you
kind
know?
of like the injured reserve guys. Like, hey, we lost a pitcher, but this guy's down in AAA. Let's bring him up for 2 weeks while he recovers, and then send him
Yeah.
back down. Like, AA does really seem to be more where your young talent is.
Yeah.
They're plucking them right from there, sending them to the majors, but we also see sometimes where they might have called them up a little early. They're not quite ready. Send them back down to AAA.
Yep.
Get them
Grind
that
a little bit
experience
more,
there,
and then send them
and then
back
bring
up.
them back up. It's almost like that. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's
We pulled the trigger too quick.
Yeah,
so now we
exactly.
gotta send you back just for a little bit. Let you know we're sending you to a next the higher league.
right.
To let you know we still have faith and confidence in you, and we're planning on bringing you back to
Yeah.
Yep.
the major league.
Well, and that's what happened to Jackson Holiday. They brought him up. He just
Yeah,
couldn't
he
hit the ball,
struggled.
man. He couldn't
Was he
hit
the
it.
number one prospect?
He was, yep.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
just could not hit in the MLB, and they sent him down to AAA, and he got back on track. They brought him up. He had a good year the rest of the year. So
Yeah.
it almost seems to me more of a rehabilitation league, whether it's injuries or just getting your confidence back, whatever it is. Like that's kind of what that league is there for at this point. AA is where your young talent's coming out of the AA.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other prospects you guys wanted to hit on here? Or
Oh, not off the top of my head.
I don't think so. I'm happy to see that the baseball season is back. I've been chomping at the bit since it was ended. I mean, the World Series seems like it's been an eternity since we watched the World
Yeah,
Series. And
yeah.
now we're getting the joys of watching spring training. So enjoy that while you can. World Baseball Classic is going to be phenomenal, as we talked about on the other pod. And I can't wait for the opening day. It's just going to be fun. It's going to give you something to watch for at least the next 7 months. So enjoy it while it's here.
there is one more guy I wanted to talk about, and he's the second baseman for the Guardians, Travis Bazzana. He was a really high draft pick, I believe 2 years ago now. He's had some injuries. He's kind of struggled at hitting the ball, which is kind of what he was really good at in college. He played for Oregon State, I believe. And I think the Guardians need mid infielders. I think they could really use him. I think he's just not quite ready yet. So he's another guy I would keep your eye on. Like if he starts to come around in AA, he could get called up and he could really make a difference for the Guardians. That's another team that's good every single year.
They're a
Like,
great team. I heard
Yep.
they could use a closer though.
yeah, that's true.
I bet on it.
He's busy doing the all-star things.
yeah.
We were talking about earlier. Spiking balls.
If you guys are liking the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. Give us a comment about your favorite, your favorite prospect from your favorite team. I want to hear who you guys are looking forward to seeing and stuff. So, make sure you subscribe and keep watching our stuff. We enjoy doing this for you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.